Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, my friends. It is Bison Day. Bison is now launched. He's now out for Street Fighter 6, and well, we're going to talk about our first impressions of the character. Well, technically second. I was very lucky to actually have a little bit of hands-on time with Bison at the Summer Game Fest ahead of time, and I had a lot of questions, a lot of things I wanted to know to have answered after my time, because, limited time, can't figure out everything all at once, right? And I gotta say, my initial impressions now that I played a few hours of the character are even better than what I thought at the Summer Game Fest. Some almost to the point of frustration, even though you'd think that'd be a positive thing, right? Because certain things E-Honda got nerfed for in the big Season 2 patch, they just straight up gave Bison that or better, and they took it away from Honda. So that's kind of weird, and that's kind of frustrating, but we'll talk about it. And just a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Bison's a very interesting character. But first, if you're unaware, there is also a patch with this. I'll post the patch notes in the video description. I just want to highlight some of the cooler minor changes. One, from the main screen, where you can go into World Tour, Battle Hub, Fighting Ground, all that kind of stuff. Now, if you look right here, you can see you can just kind of go right in the training mode with a press of a button. You don't got to go into Fighting Ground, you don't got to go through all the other menus or any of that stuff. You just go directly in the training mode with whatever the last settings you had live. So here you can see I have Bison versus Bison on the Awesome stage, right? So that was the last thing I had. So you just go directly into it and you skip a bunch of menus, which basically will save you not tons of time, but it will still save you time. And that is really, really nice quality of life. Also, specifically, when we have our little portrait thing, when you meet someone, you go online, they show the little thing, right? It now has music choices. And you can choose here from Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, and of course, like whatever default Street Fighter 6 is, right? So if you want to hear that Street Fighter 4 announcer again,
a new warrior has entered the ring!
Now you can. So you can just set that, just a nice little quality of life thing, just a little added bonus, not huge, just a couple little things like this. Once again, check the patch notes. There is also a balance change. So this is not a big balance patch, but there was some changes. Akuma specifically, his air fireball, the hurt box has been expanded just a little bit, because some characters it was not a big deal to deal with the air fireball, but other characters it kind of was. So hopefully for the characters that struggled more against it, it'd be easier just to snipe him out of the air. Now, that said, the big change is they nerfed Zangief. Now, on this channel, we're a lot more grappler-friendly than, pretty much any other fighting game channel, right? So I'm not afraid to tell you for what it is. Grapplers are persecuted beyond belief all the time, right? It's unreasonable, and it's just how it always is. And yeah, so they nerfed Zangief. They dared let Zangief get all right. Like, he's not just a garbage character anymore in Season 2. And they figured, oh, that stand medium kick, that's a little too strong. We got to revert that change. And there's no compensatory buffs or whatever. No, there's straight nerf for Zangief. But hey, don't worry. Characters like Luke and Ken, they're perfectly fine. They wouldn't get nerfed. But Zangief, yeah, he got nerfed. Okay, so now that said, let's talk Bison. Once again, I was very lucky at Summer Game Fest to play him a little bit ahead of time. And certain things that stuck out to me then, they're still great. Like the walk speed, love it. Don't got the exact numbers, but as we showed in the other video, he's on par, maybe just a smidge slower than Akuma, which makes him one of the fastest characters in the game, right? So high speed, great. Also on top of high speed, big buttons. Stand heavy punch, stand medium kick, like gigantic buttons, love it. Now here's one of the things that really surprised me. Summer Game Fest, I didn't have the benefit of a proper training mode, like the frame meter and all that. Like I managed to suss out back heavy kick was plus, and turns out, yes, it's +1. Very good. I mean, plus anything at all is huge in this game because plus frames are very rare in Street Fighter 6 compared to older Street Fighters. What I didn't expect to be plus was stand heavy punch. This is also +1 on block. I thought this move was going to be like -3. I thought it was just going to be on the edge of, punishability, but not punishable. Because once again, like the range is gigantic, right? Like it's absolutely huge. And on top of that, it is also a punish counter move, right? So you land it cool, you can like do the thing, land like whatever combo. So I assumed it was negative, but no, it's plus on block, which is absolutely wild. So when you're doing the old back and forth and just tossing this out trying to catch a whiff button, which is easier for him because one, it advances very far. Two, his backwalk speed is better than most characters in the game, right? So this is already big, and if for whatever reason you get blocked, sure, okay, you now have a slight advantage frame. Like, depending on where you are, it may or may not be easy to enforce buttons. Of course, point blank, you can just do like crouch light punch, which is a 4-framer, or stand light kick 4-framer as well, right? But yeah, I wasn't expecting this to be plus. I thought it was going to be negative, and that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. Other things that was harder to test without a frame meter, like throw loop. So yeah, he definitely has a throw loop, right? In the corner, after throw, he's plus 21 frames of advantage. He has a 19 frame dash. So if you dash forward, plus 2, easy peasy, throw loop writes itself. Also, like Akuma, because he has that terrific walk speed, he can just do an easy walk forward throw loop as well. No need to dash. You can if you want to like auto time things, but if you want to just introduce just a smidge of manual timing, you can easily do a walk forward throw loop, and then, of course, naturally, and like many characters in this game, if you get shimmied, good chance of it being game over, right? Because, well, it's Street Fighter 6, y'all, right? And Bison, the throw loop is even scarier than normal because he has the threat of the Psycho Mine, which takes a whole new level of, well, take the throw, because it might blow up in your face. I gotta show you the big, silly, high damage combo at some point, right? So I might as well do it at this point. So, say you get the mine on you, right? You're incentivized to stay still, so you get thrown, you get thrown, you get thrown, like, that's how it goes. And yes, the mine, if you're already on the ground, will detonate, so it can save you in that way. So sometimes taking the throw is the right call, because say if you don't want to take the throw, things can wind up much worse for you. So say I hit you with like the most basic hit confirm here, just like crouch light, mine, there you go, right? I have a fairly significant frame advantage in your face, specifically on plus 24, right? So at which point I can just like dash and like threaten a throw and go for the throw loop, sure. But what if you're like after mine, nah, I'm gonna reversal out of it, I'm a big boy, I got the big brain, you're done, and you get called out, well, at which point here, you're probably going to regret the reversal just a little bit. As you can see here, Bison can stack up the damage. Obviously, this is a more optimal situation, sure, but that is almost 8,000 damage. That's like Marissa territory. Yes, you needed the mine, right? You needed a setup. Marissa can just do it that like kind of whenever she wants, but that's Marissa. Anyone else approaching that kind of damage is crazy, even with the setup. So when you have the mine on you, a humble 2-hit light hit confirm combo, that can become real effing scary all of a sudden. Now let's talk the Psycho Mine. I'm sure you already know by now. You do the back fist combo, you apply the mine, and then you get all sorts of pressure, and certain moves count as detonators. What I didn't appreciate fully at Summer Game Fest, because once again I didn't have the frame data to work with, is how wildly it can change some of the numbers. Yes, if you get the mine and you get the hit, do more damage, that's lovely. And with the added pop-up, certain moves like the Devil's Reverse, depending on your spacing in the corner or something like that, you might be able to get, like, say, a level 1 super where you couldn't get it before, right? So you get more damage, that's great. The thing is, I knew it changed the numbers on block a bit, but I didn't appreciate how much it changed it on block. So, like, any back fist combo on block is simply death. Simple as, right? And any crusher on block is death. Simple as. EX crusher specifically is safe, and it's safe. There's no need for spacing, by the way. It's always -3 no matter what, which I didn't know at the time, so that's really cool. So that's always safe. That's great. But any other crusher, it doesn't matter how much you space it. Like, even with, like the most immaculate spacing, you're still going to be negative enough to at least eat a jab, right? So that's something. But with the mine up here now, the back fist combo, which detonates on block, now it's +6. Okay. Mine up on block. How about point blank Fierce Crusher? +5. Point blank Fierce Crusher. +5. So that means you can just go for it. It'll just work. Like, there ain't no need to space, there ain't no need for technicality or nuance. We'll talk about it more, but you can unleash your inner E Honda and just kind of go, to score it. And if you got that mine up, don't worry. Not only is it safe, it's stupid plus on block. Like, say, get your hit confirm combo, right? Okay, cool. Now, I don't want to think too hard, so I'm just going to crush my way in. Oh, got block, cool. And now I got super frame advantage, I guess throw or shimmy or something like that, right? Like, it's really crazy. Like, I didn't anticipate the numbers on that being so big. I thought maybe like +1 if you spaced it or something. No, it just turns out, use it like a sledgehammer, you get big numbers, it just goes. And of course, as far as like Devil's Reverse goes, that's already plus as it stands. So with the mine up, it gets a lot crazier. Because you still detonate, and then you're +16. Like, you can just kind of walk forward and threaten button, do whatever. The whole detonation mechanic is obviously very strong for hits. Like, that I don't need to demonstrate as much. We already saw, like, the almost 80% damage combo. It works for combos. But just the fact that you've got it on block, you can just make it your turn whenever you want. That makes this move, this mechanic, just so valuable. Like, just one little basic hit confirm tap, like that's not even 1,000 damage, but the threat of what comes next is what makes everything so strong. Okay, now let's talk the part where it's good for Bison. It's absolutely an advantage, but it cheeses me off just a little bit. So basically, Honda's headbutt. You may probably know that in Season 2, it got nerfed. In that, while it's technically less negative, yes, it's only -3 instead of -4, but the amount of pushback is much less. So basically, if I'm just looking to like tap you after the fact, Honda has to submit it. He always will lose his turn. Like, yeah, you can do the whole parry mind game and all that kind of stuff, but it was better just to be pushed out and try to whiff punish a button, right? So Bison and scissor kicks. Scissor kicks, as long as you space it correctly, and when I say space it correctly, you can be so sloppy with this. Like, don't take this like it takes any amount of like execution or skill to space it correctly. Just don't do it literally point blank. You already spaced it correctly. And if you do anything, we'll use medium scissors as our base here, right? Medium scissors from this far away, and -5. -5 from this far away, like nothing's connecting, right? Like -5, calling it a suggestion is maybe a little rough, but like it's not bad. Like -5, man, from here with a fast back walk speed, you can walk out of just about anything that's being tossed your way. And of course, we talked about that crazy stand heavy punch, right? Like, you can do this, take a step back, and then if they hit a button, you go for this, you'll get your punish counter, you get a full combo, go from there, party hard. And of course, unlike, say, headbutt, scissors is a motion now, right? So you can just do this whenever. There's no telltale holding back whatever so you can get ready for that parry. You can just do the old back and forth and just scream it out. And if it gets blocked, -5 from this far away, who cares? I can just back walk out. And we'll see if you hit a button, and if you do, maybe I'll punish your button press. So all the stuff Honda could do before that got nerfed, he can do it just fine. And if it hits, well, it's plus on hit and doesn't knock down. So +3 from this point already. Like, if you do anything, I can threaten hitting a button, and if you touch anything, you're going to get bopped. And that's not good for you. I can, if you know, threaten to throw, threaten to shimmy, whatever. Once again, it's like what Honda could do, just better. And it doesn't have to be a charge move, right? They can just do it on demand. And here comes the thing where if it lands as a counter hit or as a punish counter, which, you know, when you're doing the old back and forth and just tossing stuff out, like, that's likely. It's not impossible that you caught him doing something, right? That's where this gets kind of extra ignorant. Because you know what Honda's headbutt couldn't do? Like, you know, if you're around this distance and you randomly toss it out and you got the hit, what it couldn't do is end the game on the spot. Random scissors can end the game on the spot. Just, oh, randomly got a counter hit, you're donezo, bud. Sorry. And I'm just showing you counter hit, by the way. I'm not showing you punish counter, right? Like, that's even bigger combo. But yeah, we're doing the old back and forth. I already got those big buttons, all that kind of stuff, right? And then just randomly, scraw! Oh, gotcha. And cool. Guess what, bud? Game over, because I can get a level 2 off that same scenario, right? Or a myriad of variety of combos. Like, I don't need to limit myself to any one thing. So yeah, Honda couldn't randomly get 4,000 damage off a random ass headbutt, you know? The proposition gain is certainly a lot better for Bison. This is one of those deals where I talked about at the beginning of the video where I'm thinking, you know, I thought Bison would be solidly average, you know, decent rushdown, decent pressure. He has like very low defense, and we'll talk about that. He has better defense than I thought. It's still not great. It's still not a proper invincible reversal, but it's better than I thought. But yeah, his ability just to be random is now among the best in the game. Like, granted, yes, you'll get caught by the random DI, but once again, there is no tell. It's just a motion. Like, medium scissors will connect usually in under 20 frames, which means you can anticipate it with a DI, but you're not reacting to it with a DI, right? And other things that, you know, are slower, like, the big wind old heavy punch, all that kind of stuff. It's not special cancelable, so that means you can indeed get DI baited on that, right? It won't save you, but it is super cancelable. So you guys going to a level 1 knee press nightmare. The window's not the most generous, but it is more generous than other certain moves in the same situation. So if you're smelling the DI, you can just toss this out, and if you get the punish counter, you get the punish counter, sure. And if you get caught that window, if you're just buffering, double core circle forward while doing it, just hit kick, and you'll get the level 1 when you see the DI come your way, right? So his ability to just go brrr in neutral with the big buttons and medium scissors, specifically, I just find medium the best of the 3 options, right? Being better than what headbutt was at its prime, which got nerfed because it was deemed too strong. But here Bison is with a stronger version of it. Like, good for Bison, right? But, I'm the one guy who talks about Honda. Someone has to talk about Honda. I'll be the one guy who flies the flag for Honda, because if I don't, who will, right? And I just look at this, and this is like an injustice on Honda's behalf, is how I look at it. Defense being a little bit better than I thought it would be. Turns out, I couldn't really tell. It's hard to tell when you're only got, one person and not real training mode at Summer Game Fest. But I couldn't tell at the time, but it appears, just like Honda's headbutt, Psycho Crusher has limited air invulnerability frames. So a move that has air properties like, say, a headbutt or a jump in, you can notice here, the headbutt kind of just grazes against me. That does not connect, because it would seem to be that I have some anti-air invincibility frames. It's easier to tell with Heavy Crusher because it has the longest startup. But you notice that, like, I'm almost getting pushed by Honda's headbutt, right? And I'm not getting hit, and then I crusher him. So the frame data is not out as of me recording this, but it looks like this is air invulnerable. It is assuredly not frame 1. But it basically means if you get the right read, you can jab crusher, a jump in, or something like that. Or against a headbutt or a blanket ball, if you get the read, you can just kind of go for it. Other things, I'm sure you're aware, Crusher can destroy one head of projectile, and EX Crusher is just invincible to projectiles, right? Due to the relative speed, though, I might be able to hold some characters somewhat hostage. Aki has a nice slow fireball she can, toss out pressure after the fact, right? But she has a lot of recovery. She's definitely not Guile. And, on reaction, Bison can punish counter her with, medium Crusher. Not exactly full screen, but if you see it coming, you just see it go for it, you can just do it. It won't clash, it won't slow you down. You don't need the invincible version of the move, like you would against the EX, because it'd be multiple hits. But, yeah, certain characters with more recovery on their fireballs, this can, legit hold them hostage a little bit. Even EX Crusher doubly so, because it travels across the screen faster. You might not get all the hits, but you definitely will get the hit. Even from actual full screen. If I see the startup, punish counter. So against people with slower fireballs, or, if you're mid-screen and your reaction time is pretty alright, Bison can kind of curtail your game. And of course, Psycho Punisher's the thing, right? So you catch a fireball startup, anyone short of Guile, because Guile will always recover in time. Yeah, you can just kind of go for it, get the Punisher, get a good chunk of damage just on a reaction check from full screen. So all these things, once again, no invincible Shoryuken, which is better than not having one, right? But his active defensive properties are better than I thought, because I thought he had literally none. Also, by the way, EX Devil's Rise, I guess I gotta learn the new name, but it's throw immune. So if you know the throw's coming, you don't want to backdash or something, you at least got that, and then you can go for EX Head Stomp as a punish or something. So better than the 0 defense I thought he had. And all in all, that's just a little bit of day 1 talk. Obviously, a lot more to go, and a lot more will be discussed on the channel. Expect, the giant guide, expect combos, expect just a lot more strategy and tips and all that kind of stuff. But day 1, I was very blessed to have, the early access to try him out just a little bit. And now that I got even more time, I'm like, wow. Once again, I don't think he's going to be top tier. Like, put all this stuff together. Like, is he still Ken? No, not really, right? Like, Ken's a little bit more well-rounded, has like more gimmicks, more pressure, but like Bison is what he needs to be. He doesn't need to be a defined top tier. He's definitely better than the average I thought he was going to be, right? Once again, huge fan of just the walk speed. Obviously, like the drive rush, like Bison might be getting older, right? But he's still a quick boy. That little phase of Street Fighter V, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. That walk speed, that drive rush, he is fast. He's got those big buttons. He's kind of dripping in plus frames, especially with the mine up. The threat of the mine is going to be awesome. Like, even if they block all the way, at a certain point, like, okay, you're just not going to give, right? I'm not going to break you open. Screw it. I'll just do this, take my big plus frames, and then, you know, guess throw, guess shimmy, guess whatever, right? And the fact he has an actual overhead definitely helps with that quite a bit now. Bison, not really traditionally a character that has things like overheads, at least in his more classic incarnations, of which this is more evocative of, right? So that's pretty cool. It's slower, sure, but it's safe on block. It's plus on drive rush, so why not? You know, he can do crouch medium kick in the drive rush, and you know, the Street Fighter 6 and in a mine, get that pressure, so it's worth the 3 bars if you got it. Why not? He's got the gimmicks too. Like if you get a punish counter sweep, cool. Like maybe start guessing left or right on my level 2, right? Like. You can do stupid stuff like that. Like, that's definitely more in the realm of gimmickry. But if you got to steal around, it's not a bad way to do it, probably. His sweep is actually jacked up. Like, the range combined with the pushback, I'm pretty sure most of the cast can't actually punish this with all things combined. His sweep, and not the slide, the actual sweep, done at max range, and this is max range. It's very long range. A lot of characters, like, just can't actually punish it in my testing. Like, we'll have to wait and go through, like, the whole cast, test everything, you know, specifically. And yes, if you're sloppy, you'll still get got, right? But, like, actual max ranges, most people just can't touch it. So, if your spacing's good on top of, like, the other actually big buttons and all that, sweep, you can absolutely consider that one of your bigger buttons that certain characters might not actually be able to touch if you space it correctly. Bison has a lot going for him. He's high speed, high pressure, maybe medium gimmicks. We'll see how that goes, because mine's definitely a gimmick in the end, right? A strong gimmick, but it's definitely there to make people panic, right? Obviously, weaker defense, has more defense than I thought, but weaker defense. So we'll see. Definitely, basically, all in on offense effectively. And of course, that's basically what Street Fighter 6 is, right? Street Fighter 6 is a very offense-heavy Street Fighter game. So Bison's just moving along with the crowd on that one. But yeah, so far, 2 thumbs up from Bison. I'm having a lot of fun with the character. Other than the fact maybe he kind of eating Honda's lunch a little bit, which is a little frustrating, but that's me just talking as a Honda fan, right? But that definitely works to Bison's advantage. You know, it's a good thing for him specifically. So 2 thumbs up so far, and look forward to more Bison coverage on the channel in the following days, because I'll have a lot for you. So far, Bison, very interesting character, even better than I originally thought from my first hands-on with the character, and that's great. So I think you guys will have a lot of fun with him. Hopefully what's in this video gave you a few ideas of what to play around with. And, well, until the next videos, well, that's it for this one. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.
Sister, love me again.